development and delivery, and a certified master trainer. He is motivated to provide leadership for complex, sustainable development challenges, helping to connect the dots and create values. He's a creative thinker, writer, mentor, coach, and enabler. With a clapping ovation, ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Mr. Gbenga Oni to the podium. If you are not clapping,
everyone, my name is Gbenga Isaac Oni, and so it's a pleasure to be with you today for us to just let me know anytime you can't see me again, because for now I can't see you. You're not even showing your face, so that's not a big deal. Let me make it this way. Nope. Okay, you can still see my screen, right? The PowerPoint.
Yes, sir, we can still see.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about productivity arc, and I'm going to be sharing a model with you from my consulting company called the McCall Productivity Arc. The word McCall means source. It's just a Hebrew word for source, the source of everything. So we're going to be talking about that. So this is going to be our conversation flow. We're going to have an opening reflection. And though I cannot see your face, but I will really highly encourage engagement. Please feel free to share. Feel free to pause to make contributions, because we're going to be asking a series of questions shortly. When we do that, so we're going to talk about what is productivity. Then I will share with you the McCall productivity hack model. Then we're going to have a closing reflection. Then I'm going to share how you can connect with me. Then I'm going to give room for question and answer. So that's that. So an opening reflection. You don't need to unmute yourself to share, but you can also drop your answer in this thing. But I just want you to think. You've heard this question a lot of time. People say, "What's your dream job?" So if I can ask you tonight, what is your dream job, and why is it? Why is it your dream job? And let's say tonight that I have the power to give you your dream job, and you get that job, that dream job that you desire. How can you keep that job? What are some of those practices that you're going to make to keep that job? So just in 1 minute, write down in your note, what is your dream job? And why? Why it? Don't just say, "Oh, my dream job is to be the CEO of Nigeria." So why do you want to be the CEO of Nigeria? And if I have the power to make you the CEO of Nigeria, how will you be able to keep that job? Ensure you take down notes. Then you could drop your comment in the chat box, or if there's anyone that would like to share, that you're bold enough to tell us what is your dream job and why. Why do you want that job? That may, because I cannot see the people when they raise their hand, because I'm in the presentation mode. You can feel free to, if anybody raises their hand to share, please choose one or two people to share quickly. So I can see Onuche, Daniel, hands up. Let's give a minute for somebody else too. Others, you can just type in the chat box. I'll see it later and we'll see that.
Daniel, you can speak.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Well, for the opening reflection, my dream job is to become a lecturer. And that is because I have passion for, right from when I was very little, I can talk a lot, even up till now. Though that's not the quality to become a good lecturer, but I have passion for education and impacting lives of students. And I feel the best way through which I can convey this be purposeful and impacting to the life of people is through lecturing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks, Daniel, for sharing. So there are two things that he said there. He talked about passion and impact, but we're going to talk more about that. How do we go beyond just saying, "Oh, I have passion for this and I want to impact"? But I love where you came in. You said you want to transform people's life, but how can we help to make it? Because productivity is what can help you take it to the next level, to really say, why is it your dream job? I love that you know you want to talk, but I love when you added the other part, because talking does not make you to become a productive lecturer. But I love that you say you want to transform that. But how can you go next to the next level? Because we have a lot of lecturers in Nigerian campuses. They can talk very well, but you can see what we are producing from our institution. The reflection of our country and what we have now shows that we need beyond just the passion for education, but to go to that second part that we're talking about. How do you now change people? How do you impact their life? But do we want to name it? Do you want to name those things? But thank you, Onuche, for being our guinea pig. I think I saw something, Refikat.
Yes. Risha-san Dokong is also raising her hand.
Yes, I think I saw a hand. I saw a hand.
All right.
Yeah, so let's take, since it's a lady. Yes, let her speak. Then
you can unmute
continue.
your
Are people
mic.
typing in the chat box? Do you have people that?
Yes. It's Daniel who typed.
Okay.
No,
Okay. So let's take
the
sister.
All right, sir.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, the name is actually Rishazan.
Okay, Rishazan, can you please share, please?
Okay, I would love to be a business person, a business mogul, and to major in the fashion world, because firstly, I have passion for fashion and I don't really like the kind of clothes I'm seeing these days. Yeah. So I would love to come in my own way to put in the kind of things I want, because I know there are people like me too who love it and keen to it and to transform the fashion world too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shazan. I love what you talked about. Again, passion. It's easy to talk about, but I love the point you talked about, that what you see, you don't like it, but you should also try to name what do you see. And I love you talked about, I guess, to want to talk about maybe fashions that people are wearing that exposes a lot more than it ought to do, maybe based on your religious belief and where you come from. But you also need to name it so that the people like you can also come to that point. So, and to change the fashion world, because I think there's a lot of movement like that. And if it's what you are interested in, because I think there's a lady that I know that works in the office of this thing that also is doing a lot of good fashion. She just had a runway, like equivalent of what we have in New York, in Abu Dhabi, some couple of months ago. So those are kind of like passion you need to connect with and be able to bring a change. So thank you for both of you for being that. But I just wanted us to reflect in that open reflection, because most times when I say, what's our dream job? Why your dream job? It's the same thing we all say every time. I'm passionate about this. I want to make impact. But for productivity to happen, you need to name those impact. And I saw when we pushed in a little bit, a couple of people decided to go the next level to start saying, okay, yes, I want to do this. I want to do that. I think I see somebody from Nick Hub. Hands is up. Who is that?
Yes, I'm the one, sir. So
okay, someone,
okay.
So
someone dropped
okay,
their opening reflection in the chat box. So
okay, please,
I don't know if I can read it.
Yes, then yeah, please go.
Okay, someone said, Abdul Omachi said, mine is to become a professional chef. And the reason is because I have passion to cook and I love cooking so much. And Mashkura Hassan said, my dream job is to become a legal practitioner that will help girls and women.
Okay. Thank you, everybody that have shared. So I think it comes back to what I'm saying. So, like for our brother that say wants to be a chef, you have passion to cook, but there are thousands of people that also have passion to cook. What will make your own food outstanding that we can all come into that? What will set your own restaurants apart? Because I think the word we're able to talk about passion. Then our brother talked about being a legal person to change the life of guests and all of that. Yes, what uniquely do you want to change? I know that there's no time. And it's just a simple reflection. But I want you to begin to steer your mind that we need to move beyond just saying, okay, I have passion, I have this thing to make about beyond passion. What is that niche? What is that thing you're trying to bring? And I think that's what you've all signed up for this program for 90 days. A lot of people have come before me to speak and to share different. So please let's just dive deep straight into the conversation. But thanks to everyone that have shared. So how do we help you? This is your passion. How do we tweak it in a way that you become productivity? What's the hack? What are those codes that you need that can help you stand out? Not just stand out, because something I pick from all of you that shared is that you are also speaking is unsaid, but I can see it from what you're saying, that you have certain values you want to pass, certain values you want to keep, like our sister that want to do fashion. That means there's certain values you think fashion should depict in the society. So, and that's what you want to preserve. But how are you able to do it so that it's not just be everybody? Because if we put 1,000 people go to many job interview, they ask them, okay, why do you want to job? Well, I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate about that. But beyond the passion, you need to show what is the track record. How do you become productive? And that's what hopefully I'm able to help you out tonight. So if I may ask a question, what is productivity? If I ask you what is productivity, just one person, anybody I would like to share? Remember, we're talking about productivity hack. So we'll talk a lot about productivity. So what's productivity?
You can raise your hand. Okay.
Yes. Rishan?
Rich Hazan, yes.
Okay, productivity to me is the act of being productive. That is using your time wisely to do meaningful things.
Okay. No, thank you for breaking that again. Not just say using the word productive. Yes, using your time to do meaningful things. You know, then someone say, "What is this?" Productivity is the about of being productive. I said, "What is productivity?" Yeah, thank you. It could be a part or a process where you use your time wisely to produce meaningful things, or even doing it in a more efficient way or quickly. Okay, so but here we said productivity is the efficiency of production of goods or services expressed by some measure. So looking at this first line of what we said is productivity, what strikes you? What are some of the keywords you can find here? You can unmute yourself, just share what are the keywords that you can see here.
Efficiency.
There is efficiency. Yeah, what else?
Production.
There's production or
Time management.
you can see time
Goods
management
and
here.
services.
Okay. Then, but there's one I'm looking for. Measure, right? You need to measure it by something. Yeah. So productivity, I love what the keyword we want to pick up from this particular line here is efficiency and measurement. So it means that for you to say you are productive, you need to measure it against something. So it said services expressed by some measure. So what are you measuring? So tonight, what I hope that you'll be living with by the time we begin to dive more deep into is that when you say you are efficient, what standard? Do you have a metric that you use to measure? And the kind of metric we're going to be talking about is not, it might not be the one you think already that, oh, because I'm able to spend 1 hour to do this, 3 hours to do this, I did that. Yes, those are great metrics. But what metrics do you use to check the productivity of your life? Because, you know, generally, we're not just talking about, you could see here, say goods or services, but we're talking about also your journey as a growth student. Because all of you have signed up to this 90 days because you are a growth student. You want to grow. You want to see change both in your life on the stage and off the stage. So you want to see your production of your life of whatever you do, even like those that want to be a great lecturer. How do you check that you're working towards that stage to be a great lecturer? How are you hacking it? So please keep this two words. We're going to come back to it: efficiency and by some measure. So let me add something to it. The Oxford Dictionary says that productivity is the state or quality of being productive, which is exactly like what our sister was saying at that time. But there's something it added. It said what? The long-term productivity of land. So, but from this definition, what other thing can you find here? Remember, we have efficiency. On the other side, we also have measure. So which other word can we take away from here?
Quality.
Yes, thank you so much. Quality. Then what other one? Yeah, I heard you're all great and sharp people, so don't fall my hand. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's saying it. I can hear you saying it. Yeah, somebody, I heard a voice say the long term. Yes. So it said long term productivity of the land. That means what? Sustainability, right? You need to be able to sustain what you're doing. So apart from just producing stuff, having the efficiency, the measurement, I want you to also note down quality. What is the quality of what you're doing? Then the long-term productivity of that land. So using, for example, I think this is in relation to agriculture. or to production of anything. So how can you continue to do what you're doing? You've heard a lot of company. That's why I heard all of you saying, oh, passion, impact. But you see that even when the buzzword for NGO or the social enterprise word came to Nigeria, everybody came out. I'm passionate for this. Some people started fashion. Now the fashion company are what? They're long gone. They're dead. Because there's no long-term productivity hack. What is the hack? Do you want to stay in the game for long? We've seen a lot of people come passionate. They are good. They are fighting corruption. But before you know what happened, corruption has caught them, has defeated them. You see some people say, oh, I'm a very honest person. I will not do this before it not happen. Some politicians come into the system. Before it not happen, you begin to hear scandal and rumor. Religious leaders, you begin to hear private thing. People set high target. Even you, as you're on this call, when you started some couple of years ago, maybe you set some high standard for yourself that I will not do AYZ to get ABC. But before you know what happened, you begin to compromise. But what we want to learn tonight is that how do we stick to the path? How do we continue to hack it so that we have long-term sustainability of what we are doing? So please don't forget this word they were doing. We say what? Efficiency. And what is the other one? Let's respond. Efficiency. Which one? Measure. What is your measure? How do you measure? Now we talked about what? Quality.
Measure.
I will now talk about what? Sustainability. So the last one, before we dive deep into the model that I want to share with you, the AI overview. AI said productivity is a measure of how efficiently a person, company, or system converts input. It says things like labor, material, or capital into output, like goods or services. But what the word I want us to bring back is say what? Essentially, it is a measure of how much is what? Produced with the resources that is used. So what two words can you deduce from this AI overview of productivity? Yep, anyone? Okay, so I think just to help us answer, I wish we were in my class. We are seeing physically, then it would have been lovely because you have to speak. So essentially, it also talking about is a measure. So what is your measurement? How are you measuring your own productivity? But the other thing is it produce with the resources, which is quantity, right? Quantity. What's the quantity of stuff you are producing? We've talked about quality, quantity, measure. We've talked about sustainability. Then we've also talked about efficiency. Okay? Any question at this time? Any question? Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's silence in the house. Please feel free to unmute yourself and say yes, you're good, or you have question you want us to go over. Yes, so are we good? I'm only hearing Dami's voice. I want to hear the participant. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We are
Yes,
good.
yes,
sir, we are good, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, productivity hack. Don't worry, I'm not going to go into coding, but we are borrowing coding terms, right? Some people say, oh, I didn't come for a coding this thing. We'll say hack. So we want to hack the system of productivity. And there are 4 codes with a subset codes that we can use to hack productivity. So we have what is called the base code, the source code, the hash code, or the implementing code, then the object code, which is the one you see outside. So for the base code, there are 2 things you need to have for you to hack productivity. For you to be that lecturer that you desire to be, or that fashion designer that you want, or that lawyer that you said you want to be, you need these 4 codes to be productive, to hack your productivity. Remember to say to do what? To be able to have quality and quantity of what you do. So for the base code, we're going to talk about what is called your call and the tracking. So the tracking is for the measure. We'll come back to talk about it. Then for call, which is what all of you call purpose. But for me, I find it more is that every one of us in life, we have a call. Some people say it's a purpose, yes, but it's beyond just purpose. It's that God has called us to do something in this world that he has sent us. So do you know it? For you to be productive, because if you don't know it, you begin to produce. You become like some countries, I don't want to mention their names, but maybe country like that, this country in the world that they have their product in almost every part of the world. They are mass producers. They're so good in mass production that sometimes they don't think about the quality. So are you in the quantity side that you're not having quality to what you're doing? So how do you track it? But once you know your core, so under the base code, which is the foundation code, that you need. So if there's anything you need to remember, I know that a couple of people have come to speak to us before me, and they would have talked to people that you need to know your purpose. But knowing your purpose is not enough. You need to know how to track. We'll come into it shortly. Then for the source code, you need to know about the efficiency that we've talked about, the quality and the quantity. Are you mass producing ideas, or you're one of those people that say, oh, no, it's content production, just keep producing, but you're not thinking about the quality control, or you've not designed a way that you can efficiently begin to do what you do. Then the enhanced code, once you have your base code, which is the foundation, your source code, which helps you to build up upon that, you need to enhance what you do. So how do you enhance your productivity? You need to have your leadership development, and you need to have technology adoption. We're going to talk about that. And then the final thing, which is the output that people see most times at every time, is your object code, which is your energy, your emotion, and the environment that you have created or you have found yourself. And why this environment is important, you see, a lot of people have jackpot, when the jackpot syndrome is happening, they've left Nigeria or they've left their country. Because I know that we have people from other countries on this call. Maybe you've left your country in Africa to go to Europe or to go to America. You've left America to come to Africa. And you say, oh, I'm not still succeeding. So it means that it's not just about the environment. Now, there's even a trending that is going on. You see a lot of white people talking about, oh, I've been living in Nigeria for so number of years now, and I'm thriving. I'm making it. They're showing, but people in Nigeria are running away. While other people are coming from India, the Lebanese, and the rest of them, they say, no, we are making it. It's a land full of milk and honey. So you can see that it's for you to be productive, to be able to hack the environment. Yes, there are some things that in the Western world that you can have, maybe you're in Europe or in America, that you may not have in an African country. But the question is how you can also control that, but you can also go to all of these places that you have all of this and still not be successful. Trust me, it's not everybody that have jackpot that is making it. They might throw you fine picture of vacation or fine picture when they're by the lake, but really, for real, they know that they have not hacked even that place they have gone to. It's because they don't have their base code. So the trouble here is that some of you have jumped to object code. You're putting in your energy, your emotions, and you're creating an environment, but your base code, which is understanding your purpose and how do you track it, the code is not functioning. So it begins to give you error 404. Every time you try to hack it, you begin to get error 404, error 404. But tonight, we are hoping that by the time you leave this conversation we are having, your productivity will no longer be giving you error 404. I'll be 504, whatever error is showing you, or this page you're looking for cannot be found. And that's what we are hoping you're going to be able to get out of this. So now let's break it down. Let's start from base code. Let's start from base code, which is the call and the track. So, do you know your call? If you say you know your call, do you know your purpose while you're here? Just give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Unmute yourself and say, yes, I know my call. Yes, I know my purpose.
Yes, I know my call. Yes, I know my purpose.
Okay, you know your purpose on that. Good. We'll find out very soon. It's only, is that Onoja? It's only Onuche that knows his purpose. It's only Onuche that knows his purpose.
Yes,
Others.
I know my purpose.
Okay, don't worry.
Yes, I know my call. I know my purpose.
Okay, good. I like that. So that I just quoted this place. You know, there's this place in the Bible, for those that don't know about it, in the book of Acts. So there was a guy called, his name was Saul. He became converted for Judaism to Christianity and became Paul. But when he was going, the Lord asked him to say, arise and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. So he had to meet somebody to help him to dig out his purpose, to dig out his call. And he met Ananias and he told him what God is calling him onto. And the rest, as we say, is history. So the question is, you must know your purpose and your call if you must be productive. Because it drives, that's the only thing that can keep, especially in this country called Nigeria, where majority of the people on this call stays at the moment. Trust me, if you don't know why you are here on earth, why you don't know your call and purpose, you will just give up. You give up. A lot of things is difficult, or you begin to jump from one career to another. Some people say, oh, some people became lawyers or doctors or engineers. It's not their call because their parents wanted them to be engineers. You know, some couple of years ago, I was at one of the Federal Medical Center. Somebody was sick, so I was one of my brother's friend that is a medical doctor too with him. He was his junior in school. And the guy was saying, he's just trying to finish this house job. He wants to go into business. He's not practicing medicine. I was just saying at the back of my mind, and this guy has taken a position from somebody from UI that would have gotten admission for medicine. Maybe that person was passionate, was called to be a good doctor. But this one, because the daddy said, oh, go and become a doctor, he went in. And at that point, because sometimes back on the continent, everybody wants to have this, in every family, you want to have a lawyer, you want to have a doctor, you want to have an engineer. And we have people go spend 7-6 years, finish this, and they don't do anything with it. But it's sometimes good you can finish, you can also use those engineering skills or those medicine skills and apply them, because some of those skills are applied. But what we're saying is that if you have known your core and your purpose, sometimes some programs and activities you're doing, you will not do them. You would have focused your energy onto others. But I love that everybody on this course say you have known your core. So for you to be productive, and that's why I'm happy that whatever code we're unlocking tonight, those of us on this call can easily become more productive. We can hack it because you say you know your core, you know your purpose. Why are you here on earth? And please remember that your core and your purpose is different from a career. It's different from, but sometimes both of them align. I'm going to talk about them shortly. Sometimes it's easy for you put your core and your career path align. But sometimes the name they don't sound the same. Your purpose in life might be to change people or to have different direction, like the people said, to enhance fashion. But you might be reading, it might not be that you are learning tailoring or fashion in school, but that does not mean you cannot pursue that purpose to transform the idea of fashion. Because you could come up with your chemistry degree, you could come up with your degree from a different place and still have the same skills to bring the production of changing people's idea. And that's why you need to know that those tools are not the same, but sometimes they can be the same. And that's why you bring it into the space that you are. If you know your purpose, if you know your core, then whatever you're doing, it changes. That's what makes you a good doctor. That's the difference between a doctor that you see listen to a patient than a doctor that just want to prescribe drugs and say, hey, get out of my practice and go somewhere else. That's the difference between bank. You go to the bank, you stay there, you see somebody that in that bank, you say, yeah, this person has been called to this service. You see the way they treat people, the way they treat customer. You see somebody that is there, that is marking time until the next job comes and they move. The same thing you see in our education system. A lot of people are teachers now, not because they want to teach, but because there are no job in the system, so they sign up for teachers. So that's going to be the difference between that person and Onuche that is already passionate, already have that dream and desire to become a good professor to impart the life of the young generation, to ensure that knowledge is preserved, than the person that is just doing it for the money. Yeah, it's good. When you begin to pursue your core and purpose, the resources follows. But if we do it because of the resources, then we begin to have a breakdown in society and we're not able to hack a growth as a nation or as an individual. So what are some of the things I want you to remember? Can somebody help us read the first point quickly?
Call is as
Yes, go ahead, the young lady.
Okay, call is our self-discovery, which leads to developing those giftings and applying such gifts for the service of humanity. Put simply, it is your contribution to making the world a better place through self-discovery and developing tools to help us serve our community during our time here on earth. It is your rent for your space here on earth.
Yes, so that's your purpose. So you need to have self-discovery. Do you know yourself? And I believe one way or the other, the people that have come here before me, somebody would have talked about self-discovery. And once you discover yourself, then you need to begin to know that each of us have a gift that we've been gifted with. Then you need to apply that gift to serve humanity. Even if you open the biggest company in the world, know that you are there to serve. Is your idea, is your purpose that you have identified. Is you want to become the greatest engineer, the greatest lawyer? Is it to serve? I love the young man say he wants to serve young men, women, and boys. Maybe there are cases in his community. He wants more women to have voices. He wants them to be liberated from oppression. And he wants to use his skills as a lawyer. But you need to look at what are the creative way to do it and to bring about that change. Thank you for reading for us. Somebody has the second one quickly. The young man that was fighting to read with her. Can you read for us?
Onuche.
Call is our self-discovery, which leads to developing.
Point two.
Okay, sorry, the second slide. Sorry. Your call is your true north to pursue a holistic life Sometimes you see people talking about 5 years and 10-year goals, which are essential, but you need to be sure of your call before even designing those goals. If not, there would be a disconnect.
Yeah. I believe that a lot of you on this call, some of you now, you have your 20 years goal, your 5 years goal, your 10 years goal. They are great. But you will come back in 5 years' time and feel discouraged and disconnected if you don't know your call, because you'll be as if you're walking around circle. So if you have been having 5 years, 10 years goals before now, you're not seeing yourself achieving it. Generally, I don't have those things. That's my own personal journey, but we don't have time to talk a lot about it. I have plan, I have ideas. This is I want to do, but just sitting down designing goals. If you are designing those goals without really knowing who you are, what God wants you to do in life, then sometimes when storm comes, when issues happen, and you are deviated away from the goal, you know, some people lose barrier. Some people lose their fitting. They don't pick up again. They feel disconnected. But if you know your call and you know your purpose, even if you have 10 years goal and plan, and as you're executing them, life happens, situation change, you will not be bothered because you know where you are heading to. And unfortunately, that's where we begin to see a lot of situation even among young professional career. People having the high cases of depression, high cases of people committing suicide because they have this big image. You see people come online and say, well, when they see somebody that will go on vacation, or there's a new one that is raining now that sometimes I just baffle where it's coming from. I see that, no, maybe some of you that in the system, the younger ones will understand what it means. Some people say, oh, there will be somebody on a vacation and says, God, I don't want to die in Abule Egba. Help me to be there, because somebody went on vacation in Greece. There too, they want to see Greece one day. But is that a call? Going to see Greece is not bad. I've been to many places in my lifetime and still going. I've been privileged to have the privilege to travel to almost all of the continent of the world. But what we're saying is that it is not the basic things that drives you. Because that kind of picture and that kind of post on internet is showing the pettiness of the mind of the people. That the only reason you don't want to die in Abule Egba is because you want to appear in a vacation in the Bahamas or in Dubai. But is that the purpose? Why are you trying to change Abule Egba? Because when you begin to change Abule Egba, what will happen to you? You will see those places. How many of you know the Tunde, the guy that does the chess master? He was doing his things in the slum in Lagos. His plan was not to travel. But by doing the work he's doing, last year, his first ever trip or anything that will go outside the country is to the United States of America. And that was his first time ever for applying for a visa. And they gave him, because what? His work is changing life. There are many people that have done, that even work in corporate, but they've applied for that visa a million times. They've banned them. But this guy knows his core. So you understand how he has been able to do all his productivity hack. He knows his purpose and he stayed with these young people. And look at him now, he has broken the Guinness World Record twice. Now, I wasn't even planning to share his story. Now, but when our brother was reading this, when Onuche was reading this last point, it just came back to my mind and all of that. But look at him. So that's a clear example of somebody that knows. I can even talk about Nick. Your Nick that started this program that you all are signed up is the same thing. So you must discover your true north. Your number primary one purpose should not be that you want to travel abroad. That's why you're doing what you're doing. Please don't allow that be your purpose. It will come. Am I saying you should not envision to go to different places? That's the essence of life. We need to explore. For some of you, you have not even explored Nigeria. Some of you, even your local government where you stay, in Lagos there or in Kano or Kaduna. You know, I go to Kano, I go some places sometimes when I was doing project in the Northwest and the Northeast, I know some places there more than the people that was born and live there because they don't care to know about the environment. So Lagos, have you explored the whole of Lagos? If you live in Ibadan, do you even know many places in Ibadan? Do you try to even know? You say, no, you don't. So before you start posting those kind of things with those kind of people online, you need to know your purpose. And when you begin to pursue it, your purpose. So that's your number one hack, is that what is your core? How do you do that? I will read the next one so we can move quickly. Working on your core makes a difference in your career path. It is the difference between a knowledgeable and kind doctor with out of this world charisma and the smiley clerk or housemaid from the bitter and endless complainer. You have some people, they always complain. If you have anybody around you that always complain, please run away from them. And say, this mechanic work that I will die in. Is it this security or driver? You are entering a taxi and you're going, the driver is complaining every period. Just jump. Don't next time, don't enter that taxi. He's dropping you bad energy and spirit to you. You must learn to do what you're doing with joy. You must. So if everybody becomes a CEO who will work for people, that's one of the things we have with young people. Everybody wants to start a company. Everybody wants to be a CEO. But if all of us become a CEO, then we will work for each other. But you can go in and carry your entrepreneurship spirit and your kindness. You go, people provide public service. They are so mean to people. You see, university, I did my undergraduate in Nigeria before my master's and my doctorate outside. The system, is so bad. You go to a department and you're asking for something, and people will talk to you rudely. Me, I gave them tough time. They gave me tough time. I gave them tough time. You cannot send me out of a public office. I had to ask one. They say I should get out of the office. I said, sorry, excuse me. Can I ask, please, which office are you talking? This one I'm standing in. This is a federal government building, and it's a public office, so I have the right to stay there. Unfortunately for that professor, it was an assistant lecturer. He didn't know me. So they had to tell him, because then I came back to get my transcripts. So one lady now called him that, you don't know that boy, just leave him. Oh. You are looking for trouble. Just leave him. And because you cannot send me, there's nothing. There's just only one way to die. And the highest you can do is, your worst is to hold back my result, which they've done several at different points. But you must know you are there to serve. But we have people in public so they cannot serve. You write your own exams, you are chasing their own result, begging them to give you your transcript. Why, in other words that makes sense, you can go to the internet and download your transcript yourself. And so that's what we're saying. Those people, they don't know they are called. They don't know that they are called to serve. But you see some cleaner in department, some staff in the department, they know you. In all of you have gone to different schools. You've seen mothers and fathers in the hostel. Those people, they do the work with joy because they know that's what God has called them. You've seen cleaner that is cleaning and is so happy because they bring the spirit of knowing their purpose. They're there to serve. And that's what we're saying. That's the foundation of hacking or being productive. You've heard cleaners that clean and build their own house, cleaners that do those things and become satisfied, and they raise up grown-up best children in the world and offer society best and wonderful kids because they were not ashamed of what they're doing and they pursue it. So friends, don't just go through this 90 days without understanding your core. Yes, for those of you that say you know your core, your purpose, have you written it down? Do you really know why? You want to ask, when you say passion, I love passion. I love that you can talk. Yes, those are the signs. Then you need to grow the skills of public speaking to be better. And about why? What is that thing? Why do you think you are here to become? And if our politicians know this thing, our policy space will change. That's why I see people, for us to have good politicians, they need to know their purpose. You see, we have politicians in our own side here that some of them have never even worked in their life before outside. They don't even know what is their purpose. They've not made difference anywhere, but we go ahead and vote for them. They come in and they don't know what to do than just to earn basic public funds. So for you to be productive, the number one code is the core. You need to find a way to do what to hack. And the last one, knowing your core makes you spend an extra 5 minutes to help people. If you're working in the bank, so we have closed what? You know, well, my purpose is to help. I can see that this father is desperate, this mother is desperate, you help them. And you just, that extra 5 minutes, you're able to give it out to help people. And that's the way you can hack your productivity. And a useful purpose or core has 3 parts. So let me just tell you about the 3 parts. I'll quickly just brush through this one. This one, you can find it in my book. I'll show you at the end how you can have access to the book. You can read more about it. So for those of you that say you have known your core and your purpose, I want you to test it with these 3 things that I'm going to share with you now. One is a concept called likeness by the original thought thinker. Where I got this was from Professor Clayton. It's late now. He was formerly a professor at Harvard. And so he was talking about likeness. And also, what does it mean, likeness? So it's for you imagining what you want to end. How do you dream that your end will be? Just imagine as you're here. Don't worry, none of you will die. Don't be afraid. No one will talk about death. Everybody in the black world are scared. No, don't jinx me. No, you are not going to die. But I want you to imagine that you are old with gray hair and white hair. When your end come in this world, what do you want your end to be like? What will people say of you? So that is how you know if that's your call, that's the purpose you're doing. So it is what you, as the manager of your own life, I put the manager in quotes because I know that we are not all like the author or the manager of our life. God controls. That's my own personal belief. You're not the captain or the chief of your own life. God, your life belongs to somebody, belongs to God. But let's just put it down that you are in charge of your life. How do you want to end it? Hope you would have built, a different milestone in your life. What you will have achieved. That's a likeness. So I want you to test your purpose that you say by this likeness. So what is the image? What different milestone would you have made in your life? There's a lot under it because there's no time, and this time enough will not be enough for us to be able to go deeply into all of those things. But I just want you to know this is just the beginning. You can get more about it in my book if you want to do it. Then the next thing, once you know the likeness, then you know the commitment. So it's the next step in delivering on this likeness. So your likeness cannot end on paper. So for me, in the book I shared with people that my own likeness that I liken my life to a waterfall. I don't know how many of us have been to a waterfall before, but anytime you go by the side of a waterfall, it always brings about coolness. And if you look around waterfall, you will see green leaves, green vegetation, and everywhere the water flows, you see vegetation. So for me, I see my life back then when I was staying in Ibadan, in Nigeria then. I have in my office, behind my office, I usually have a big waterfall. So there's a big waterfall because I see my life as a waterfall that everybody that I meet. And so you cannot meet me in 5 minutes without learning one or two things. And that's part of my life being a waterfall. That's why I'm here speaking with you tonight. So I impart people. They have coolness, they have refreshness, they also have growth, vegetative growth. So I have it like a statement. But for me, I did not leave it on paper. Some of you now, you know your goal, you know your purpose. What we're saying is that is the likeness, but it must not stay on paper. You must be committed to make it happen. And my commitment to making it happen is speaking to you tonight. And I do that with a lot of people, and that's what I do with my practice in consulting, and I do with my job everywhere. So I've gone beyond the water painting to begin to be convicted that this is my journey. So no matter what somebody offer me, no matter the temptation for me to get every other job outside of this path that I'm living, I remember my call and I stick to it. And that's where you put commitment. That's where you find some people that are consistent in what they are pursuing. And so I can talk more of even Nick, the starter of this program. You could see him, even if he's pursuing his things in food science or any other part, you still see him on this journey to helping young people hack their growth in life. So do you have that likeness? Do you have commitment to it? Please, if you can all even get the book and share and read among one another. One person can buy, two people can buy, depending on your location, and read more about it. Then the metrics. You must have a metric by which you measure your progress. So those are the three things. So what will you say you have done this year to show you that you are keeping to your purpose or to the core that you're doing? What are the metrics? Yes, people, different books, different author, like me too, have designed some that I've shared with people for you to track your growth, but you also need to take it and adapt it to your own life and design for yourself. How can you measure your growth? What are some of the metrics you can use to do that? So let's move quickly. So any question on the first code? Because I need to move quickly now. Any question on the first code? On knowing your core or your purpose? Hello, people. Are you still here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Question, guys. If you have questions,
I
raise
thought
your
you were
hand.
sleeping on me.
No, sir.
Okay, don't worry. Just keep writing your question down. We can take it at the end.
Yes.
Just keep writing your question. So let's move quickly. So now we're going to the second code for you to hack your productivity. Do you have, that's what we're supposed to do there. Don't worry. Do you have life tracker, or do your life have a tracker? Change it. That's the question. And never confuse movement for growth. Never, ever, ever. So in my book, and with the people that I work with in coaching and mentoring, I have 5, or what I call the ladder of growth, or the ladder that helps you to track your growth. It's a tracker. So you need to track your growth from the core. So it starts from there. You climb a ladder from down, not up, not from up, down. So the core, your connections, your commitment, your conviction, and your care. So let's quickly go through it. So the first measurement or yardstick in tracking your growth or in tracking your productivity is for you to have a clear purpose or call. I've spoken a lot about that. That's what I just led. So you need to be clear on your assignment. You do this by continually asking the right question. So asking question is a skill. And I spoke a lot too about in the book that asking question is a skill you need to develop in life. Trust me, like in the, I don't know, most culture might have it, but in the culture, Yoruba culture where I come from, they usually say this, that the person that asks this question does not get lost. And into Bambere, Kinshino, right? I don't know, my Yoruba is not 100% perfect, but I think that's it. That the person that asks questions does not get lost. So for example, I'm going to Meduguri now and I don't know my road. Let's say there's no Google GPS to help me. Even sometimes GPS can get you lost. Some people have been so confident on their GPS that they got lost and found themselves in the bush. In the book, I shared a wonderful story of a runner. The woman got lost for almost 21 days. But she forgot her phone in her bag when she went hiking and missed a turn. And the question was that what if she had the compass that could guide her? But sometimes you can also have that compass and still get lost. I don't know how many of you have depended on Google Map before and it has sent you to the wrong direction. So it means sometimes you need to ask, even with your Google Map or with your Google Docs, you need to pause and say, hey, please, Dami, where is the direction to this place? And Dami can help you ask, oh, Aisha, oh, John, oh, Paul, oh, Peter. Then people can help you. Oh, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, sir. Can you help me? What's the direction to house number? So and so they can guide you. So you need to do that. So that is the core. That's the first part of your tracking. So if you want to track your life, you want to track your progress, you need to continue to remember that you must be here. That's the first thing for you to grow. For you to even climb this ladder and go up, you must know your core. Then the next one is the connection. And now when some of you hear connections, you're already thinking, oh, people you know. Now, it's great if you know people in high places. There's nothing bad with it. But it's beyond that. So as you assess your clarity and comfort level with your core, the next yardstick is for you to measure the connections around you. Some of you, if I ask you to open your phone now, you have more than 1,000 connections on speed dial, but yet you might not be connected. Because those 1,000 people you have on your group, those group you follow, you laugh. Those celebrity you follow and you laugh for them. How many of them can help you to grow this fashion business you want to grow? Sometimes you start a business. That's where you know that you don't have connections. Even your close friends and everybody around, they will not patronize you. And you say, oh, you have. Then to be total stranger out there that will support you. So you must develop quality connections. And what we mean quality connections is that, are you making contributions to the people around you? Are you making contributions even to people that will not give you anything in life? Because trust me, nature, society, and God has a way to send things back to you. So what are you doing for people that will not give you back in return? That's how you measure if you're growing, if you are becoming productive. Do you spend your time only on the things that will give you money? Trust me, days coming, you know that money cannot save you. It's the people you know that will save you. So you need both of them. You need the money, but you also need the people. You also need the connection. So don't measure your connection by the numbers. Measure them by the quality of the people in your life. Sometimes the people you least expect are the people that can help you. So please develop connections beyond your tribe, develop connections outside of your space. Develop connection even among yourself. In these 90 days, you'll be together. You don't know who will become something tomorrow that you might need. Sometimes all you just need is to ask in the group that you are, I want to do this. And you'll be surprised. The person that has been so quiet in the group works in the office where you need clearance to move your business to the next level. And that person can help you break the protocol, not to do illegal thing, but can help you to move through the system. Because sometimes systems are so wonky and you need somebody to be able to help you to pass through them. So what are your connections that you have? The next one is the commitment. Here is the value of debt. That's where a lot of people do not make it past it in their growth journey or in their productivity hack journey. People get lost in this middle part and they fall back on the ladder. So here, a lot of people cannot cross because they fail to embrace fear. In this commitment, now you're clapping the ladder, you're looking down. You're saying that, oh, you have gone way beyond what you can do. You become afraid. But fear is a gift. I read a book by, what's the name of the guy? Is it Gbenga? I can't remember his full name. I'm still reading the book. I've been reading that book for 3 years now. I need to finish it. So talk about the gift of fear. It's a powerful book. Gift is a fear. Fear is a gift, sorry. Fear is a gift that if you use it very well, it can help you. And so the thing is that people fail here because when they see fear and you want to start this business, you say, this fashion is more than me. Maybe you try after 2-3 months or up to a year, you are failing. You give up and you run away. But you must not give in. You must continue. Said they fail to embrace fear as a gift, but instead allow fear to combat them. But one way to measure your growth is that, are you doing it in fear or not out of fear? So there's a big difference about that. You can see that again in my book. I spoke a lot about it. They're talking about what's the difference between doing it in fear but not out of fear. And so that's how you can measure. If you hear the story of how Virgin Atlantic started, it's such a fascinating story. I want you to do the research. There's a class assignment for you individually. Go and find out how Virgin Airline started. And he was one of the pioneer people that introduced, for those of you that have had the privilege to fly long distance flight, to put movie in flight entertainment. In those days, there were not all of those things in flight. This guy started an airline business without having money. He came to this commitment place. He had the call, he knew his purpose, did the connection, but he got to this commitment level. He did it in fear, but not out of fear. Able to lease planes for free in credit. And today, the rest is history. And he changed the way we now fly all over the world. The same thing, different people that have done different things, that's how they do it. So from commitment, you move to the conviction. This is where, if you're able to get to this place, trust me, most times you cannot fail in life again. You've been able to hack your productivity level to this point, you will not fail. So to measure your growth or your productivity at this place, you become convinced of what you're doing. You begin to test only your actions and take pride in yourself alone without comparing yourself to anyone. If you're here, you're still comparing yourself to others, then you have not gotten to this point. People that get to this point, they no longer compare themselves. People will say, oh, you are proud, you are this. No, but you know yourself. If you're full of pride, you know. But if it's what you know that you're doing in the right way, then you should be proud of what you're doing. So you take pride in yourself alone without comparing yourself to someone else. And you don't complain, oh, because I was born in Abulegba, that's why I'm here. Because I was born in Lokoja, because I was born in Makodi. By the way, I was born in Makodi. And so, oh, that's why you cannot do this, you cannot do that. No, where you come from does not matter. It's what you do with it. At this point, you are convinced that you see yourself in high places, not just daydreaming, but you know, yes, you are going to make it in this life. You're going to bring changes, even if it's just in Makoko slum there. You know that you can turn it around. And at the end of the day, sometimes you can change the life of 5, 10 children, but those 10 children you will change might become powerful people in the future that will turn the whole Makoko slum into something else. And that's the belief you need to have. So from conviction, you get to the top of the ladder, which is care. This is the milestone that all of us, we are striving to become in life. So here you measure your growth. You know, FOMO will decrease in your life. What is FOMO? Fear of missing out. For some of you, you always fear of missing out. Oh, you want to be on Instagram. You want to be on X. You want to be on Trend. You want to have an account on Netflix, on Prime. You spend your money. You spend yourself everywhere. You want to be in different party, different WhatsApp group just to hear gist, hear left and right. You don't want to miss anything. Then you have not gotten to this point of care in your journey. You cannot hack things. You become overwhelmed. But once you get to care in your journey, the one way for you, so you measure your growth is that you stop trying to solve everybody's problem or fix people. Trust me, you cannot solve everybody's problem. You only do your best and you leave the rest for them. So if you're interested to know more about this, please dive deep into the work to do it. So let's move quickly because I know it's almost night. You all need to go and sleep. So the next code is the source code. No, we are done with the base code now. We are now on the source code. So I'll move quickly. So in the source code, we have efficiency, quality, and quantity. So how do you begin to hack your productivity? How do you know you're hacking it? Is that, and you're using the right code, is that in efficiency, you must master silence. Produce in silence. Don't be like these people that if it's not on social media, it does not happen. Yes, there's different advice out there that says speak up, say your mind, don't do in silence. Yes, it has its place. And I know some people on this, some mentors that have come before me would have talked about that. Put yourself out there on social media, do a lot of things. They are great. But you need to also put yourself in the right time. And if you've done the other things we've talked before here, knowing your call, knowing your purpose, tracking it, you know when to do it and when to operate in silence. So you need to master it. That's the way you can become efficient. No excuses. Today, if there's anybody in this program, you must stop giving excuses. No more excuses for anything. You must build character. Then you must know you're enough. Know when you should be satisfied with what you have. Don't be so greedy. Don't become too risk-taking. Risk is good. We are not encouraged to be risk adverse. We're not encouraged to be too much of risk taker. Know when to stop. Don't become too ambitious. See, a lot of people that go into this sponsoring scheme. They're called the people of the CBEX and the different, they created different money scheme and swindle people away. It's because they don't know they're enough. They just keep designing things, then different program, and when what happens, they go deep in depth. You know, yesterday I saw somebody, he was trying to raise money for one of their friends that said was running business, went and took loan from loan shark people and all of that. I was just shaking my head. I said, how I wish, well, I cannot speak a lot about it, but I said, I wish this person knew they're enough. If you're starting business, know when to take loan, when not to take loan. You need to know it. I want you to do another assignment for you. I've given you one other assignment. The other time, I want you to go and read about the former, I will remember his name has escaped. I mentioned him in the book, but he was the former Gupta. So his name is Gupta. He was the former CEO of McKinsey. He was the first non-American, non-native born American. He's an American now, but he was not born in the US. He came to the US and nationalized and became a citizen. That became the CEO of McKinsey. But the guy was greedy, never knew he's enough. This guy retired at the age of 40. Imagine. He retired at the age of 40 and retired, it was $100 million. Then that was what they were watching him and all of that. But I don't know if you have read Psychology of Money, you have heard the story too in it. And this guy, but he always had ambition to become a billionaire in dollars, which is good, but he never knew he's enough. And this went and pushed him to go and do insider trading during 2008 when they were having the global crisis. And went and sold information from the that was not supposed to share, so his friends could buy share, and he made extra $17 million. But he sent him to prison. This guy that was an ambassador for the UN everywhere, today, he might still have money, but his name has been tarnished. Some of you don't even know about him. Maybe you'd have known about him if you had stuck to the path. I want you to go and read about him, Gupta. So you must know you're enough. Don't become too greedy. If you want to have know when to stop. And that's what a lot of politicians do not know in life, and they tarnish their image. They don't know when to stop. So for you to be efficient, for you to hack very well, know when to take a break, know when to do that. And it comes with knowing your purpose and knowing your conviction of who you are. Then quality. Does what you produce match your core? If you say, okay, these are my values, I have value A, Y, Z, but what you're producing does not match your value, then it's problematic. That's not quality. Do you have a standard? What's your standard? You know, sometimes you just go online, social media, you just shake your head. I'm in one group. I will not mention the name of the group. You know, they said the leaders committed financial misappropriation and they're not doing things well. You could see people coming to defend, you know, they have done the bad thing. Do we throw the baby out with the bath water? Blah, blah, blah. People giving excuses. Because they claim they have a standard of non-corruption, but because the person has been affected, it might be their friend, and you're trying to give them excuses and slack. So that's double standard. What value do you have? What and who do you measure yourself to? Do you measure yourself only to celebrity? Because they have money, and celebrity, they can do anything, insult people, do anything to have money, and say, yes, that's who you want to be. Or they're double standard. They say this today and they do that tomorrow. That's not the kind of people I think we want on this program. And that's not the people that we want, people that will have quality in life. So what is your distinctive attributes? You need to know that too. So let's go to quantity. So here, this is where you have your legacy. So I can give you an example. I've been giving an example a lot of Nick. For example, I think this is the fourth or fifth year or more that this program has been running. Thousands and hundreds of you have gone through this program. That's going to be the legacy for Nick. He might not have thought in the beginning when he started of this as a legacy, but each of you that passes through this program, you become a legacy. And that's how you start in life. Just begin to do. That's the quantity he's producing. Because each of you are becoming ambassadors. You are going to mentor others, and that's the quantity. Before now, we are beginning to produce people of quality in society that are efficient. So have you mastered the art of working under fire? You go to interview, say, oh, I can work under pressure. But what I mean, fire. When fire comes, that's where your quantity shows. Are you able to adapt? When there's pressure, then can you delay gratification? That is your quantity. Then do you know your magic number? Which is also close to know you're enough. How many quantity do you need to produce that will change the system for you? For example, if you want to be a fashion designer, do you need to produce 50 dresses that you make even? Then after that, do you need to be patient enough to continue to produce the 50 until you have the capacity to go to the next, or you become so greedy that you want to produce 100 at some point and you overstretch your staff and you begin to produce less quality of garment. So you need to know what's your magic number. That's how you hack your productivity. So let's move quickly. Yeah, the second to the last code is the enhance code. There are two things that you can do to enhance your productivity when you're hacking it. The leadership development hack code, then the technology adoption code. So under your leadership, so like we say, leadership by definition itself. So you knowing yourself, excuse me, having a vision that is well communicated. Are you able to communicate your vision? So like those of you that share, when I asked in the beginning, what's your dream job? I think it should be a call to all of you to see that you need to go back and begin to build how to communicate. How can you communicate better? For example, if I have the resources to give all of you that were speaking at that point to start those things you want to do you think I will give you? To a large extent, I might not give you as much as I wanted to give you before. But you need to go back and refine it. When you know your vision, how well can you communicate it? Then you begin to build trust among colleagues, trust among your workers. So then that's how you begin to become more productive. People that you help. Taking effective action to realize your leadership potential. Because if people know you that you can be relied upon, you can call them to help you to do things. Don't be the kind of friend that the only time you reach out to your friends is when you need something from them. And when you begin to call them and say, he's calling now, he needs something again. Do you have a leadership development plan? What's your leadership development for this year? How many of you do you have a development plan to say, I want to invest in books this year? Not just free things. Free things are good. But do you want to save your own money and buy books? Save your own money and attend a conference. Save your own money and invest in a training. Do you have conflict management skills? Can you manage conflict? Trust me, this is what it destroys most people in the future. They can even manage conflict with their client or conflict with their investors or conflict and they give up, they flare up. And it destroys internal relationship with your partners, with your business people. Are you able to sit, have disagreement, talk about them, come back and sit and manage the process? Then communication skills, which what we've spoken about up there. Then technology adoption. You need to create your own tech Bible. What I mean tech Bible, when I use the term Bible, there's that the book that guides you. You saw this guy that was just arrested by FBI, a Nigerian boy that went and designed a hacking Bible. He taught people to become fraudster. So even someone that does not know how to do internet scam, if they buy that book, they can scam anybody. They lead step-by-step process of hacking, but luckily they've been arrested. I hope they've taken down almost all the books. That I shared here is not for you to go and Google and start looking for it. So you can find it or buy it and you too go and become, we want to believe that nobody on this call become a fraudster to do that. Then you must also avoid the leak syndrome. So what we mean, the LIC stands for like, share, the like and share syndrome. Do the like, share and comment syndrome. Because a lot of people on your social media, if people do not like your comment or do not share it or comment on it, so there's an S missing there, so it's leaks. The LI is for like, the C is for comment, then the X is for share. So you post a picture and nobody comment, nobody share, you say, no, then maybe I need to go open TikTok. People don't like me on Instagram. You waste all of your time running from no. Sometimes some people pay machine to like those things and share. So it's a business because the more million and thousand people that like that this and share, sometimes it's not really human being liking and sharing those things. So you have to be careful. So also avoid social media trap. As you're adopting technology, technology is a very good tool. You need to learn AI by all means necessary, please. Invest in it, not just the free training. If you have the money, if you don't have it, look for the free training resources online. Learn technology. Invest in tech training, but avoid the social media trap. And what is that trap? Everything you see online, it is not the way it is. Trust me, some of us are privileged to have friends that are celebrity. Some people are privileged to have friends that you see them on the news and TV every day. When we meet them in private, those people are not who you think they are. A lot is going on in their life, but they show up by rubbing powder and putting a pancake on their face and looking so great. And the pictures are doing chop, 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 chop. Some are great. They are making it. They are winning off the record. But majority is a lie. Don't be trapped by them. You are doing well. Make it better. But don't relax too. Do your best. Keep doing. Some are indebted. Their businesses have taken loan, investment money. They don't even know how to pay back, but they're still showing up. And so people use this kind of thing. Fake it until you make it. But please, if you're in this growth, this thing, we don't want you to fake it until you make it. Keep showing up until you make it, but don't fake it. Just keep showing up until you make it. You are not needed on all platforms. If you're on this call and you have account in all platforms and you're not active in some, please go and delete them. You're not needed on all. You're not needed on TikTok, on Instagram, on this. If you know they're not functioning, they're not beneficial to you, save your time, save your energy, and use it for something else. And so in terms of technology adoption, this is my advice for you. Be what I call a conservative radical with technology. So what is that? Conserve your values and the technology that you need to know, delete those that you don't want. So be a Libra and also be a conservative at the same time. Conserve your values, your belief, but liberate things you need to liberate. Speak up when you need to speak up. And you do that. That's the adoption. So the final part, as you close, I can give you room for question. The object code. How do you become productive and hacking? Your energy, your emotion, and your environment. These three codes, you need to regulate those you allow into your space. That's the energy. Rest is important. In my book, I spoke a lot about rest. Beyond what I want to say, and rest is not just sleeping or going to vacation. Trust me, that people that go to vacation and they come back, they feel more tired than you. Rest is mental. It's in the head. You can develop different habits or different practices that will make you rest. Take walks to think. How many of you, when you want to do something, the first thing that quickly comes to your mind, you run to Google. When I was preparing, before I designed this a productivity hack, I had to sit with myself. I had to just imagine, based on the work I've done, based on the coaching activities I've done with people, what are some of those things that have helped me to hack and to become productive? What are the things that have helped those people to? Then had it, then before I went ahead to do my research and design the codes. But for some of you, if they tell you something to do, the first thing you run to Google. But forgetting that there were some people that also sat down and developed this knowledge that was kept on Google before you start using it. So when will you also develop your own knowledge that will be contributed to Google for people to use? So take a walk to think. Thinking is a process. And I shared how you can become a good thinker in the book. And there are different books outside of my own book that talk about thinking. Invest in them. Learn to pray and read God's word. That's one of the ways you can manage your energy. God is the ultimate of all things. Learn to connect with him. Learn to pray. Learn to read his word. Then the question is that what are you plugged into? So what you are plugged into matters. The kind of friends you have, the kind of movies you watch. I love a lot of movies around detective movie, like a science fiction movie or sci-fi movie. I learn a lot from them. So I don't watch movie because I just want to watch. I watch because I will learn things. Some, yes, that sometimes it's cool just for entertainment and laughter. But know what you are plugged into, the kind of friends, network. I'm not done on all group. Be mindful of where you plug to. Remind you of the WhatsApp group you join. They will affect your productivity. They can become time consuming, and you don't even have time to even do other things. Then the next one, emotion. Avoid the dark side of emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence, I don't have time because it's a deep thing. So there are a lot of scholars that are coming up and challenging the notion of emotional intelligence for you to become productive or to be a great leader. And this is their argument, which I also agree with them. People like Adam Grant and the rest, they are coming against the notion that emotional intelligence is the second law of leadership, that is like the best part of it. So what they're arguing is that people are beginning to master emotional intelligence, they're beginning to use it to manipulate people. So they know emotional intelligence, they know their emotions, they can read people, and they're using it to manipulate other humans like them. So if you're on this call, don't become these leaders that know how to sweet talk. You sweet talk people, you know that this thing, but you're manipulating them. Please do not manipulate people. So that's why I say avoid the dark side of emotional intelligence. I said more about EI or IQ in my book, or the other works you can read. It doesn't have to always be in my book. You can get it other places too. But don't use it to manipulate people. The people that go and buy 48 laws of power or whatever by Green. They read it and they use it to manipulate people, politicians and the rest of them. They talk sweet. They get what they want and they move away. That's not the kind of leaders we're building here. Building a solid character and tracking your growth. We've talked about that behind. Your social skills, you need to grow your social skills. Learn, have ability to be able to manage relationship and build network. Don't be somebody that fights everybody. Everybody is their witch. Everybody is bad. Everybody is not good. Then are you the only good person in this world? Don't fight everybody. Don't burn bridges. Learn to build people. So leaders with these skills, you're good at building and leading teams. So tend to do that. So the last part, the environment. Like I said, you can run away from any African country or any country and run to Europe, to Canada, and still not make it because you've not grown yourself. So you need to be a seed. A seed will grow in an environment. Sometimes in an environment that is not natural to them, you can manipulate that environment and make the seed grow. And that's what we call about adaptation. You can bring seed from different places and create that cold condition for that same seed. It will grow. It may not yield the high quantity like you want it there, but sometimes it still brings the quality. So make your life a seed. Learn to grow, learn to produce seed, learn to harvest the seed and preserve some for the next production cycle. So the next is that think global, but you live local. Wherever you are now, think global. Don't think that you're going to die. Like, don't say, oh, they don't want to die in Abule Egba. What they're supposed to be doing is not to be saying it, that thing. We have this movement now that say manifestation, which I think is is a corrupt movement moving. You just want to manifest things without putting work into it. That's criminality. You need to put a work before you manifest. So think global, but live locally. Look, I always learn from one of my great teacher in the past. Say, what is local is original. And so what he was saying there is that it's you that know yourself. What you are doing in Kano, in Kaduna, in Plateau, or wherever you are planted at a very particular moment, it is the original, not what is in America or coming from China. It's what you do in your particular locality that is original. But let that your originality be able to compete with the global standard. That's why I say you should do what? Think global, live local. The next one, be consistent and adaptable. Build consistency, but also be adaptable. Then conviction. I've talked about conviction in the ladder. You must be convinced of what you're doing, and that's why you can stay in the environment. I've seen a lot of people, they've offered them different things. They've said, nope, they're not leaving Nigeria because they are convinced. They have that conviction that Nigeria is the place for them, and they're doing. Then think abundance over scarcity. If you always think about scarcity, you always think about how you scam people, how you take them. Just think there's always abundance in society. Our society has been blessed by God. There's no poor country. Even though they think they don't have to, even in a war-torn environment, there's still something. I should begin to think, oh, what I have, what do I have that Dami do not have that I can offer to Dami, and Dami can offer me what she has. What do I have? What do Oniche have that I do not have? The Oniche can give me, I can give. So if we can begin to live like that, we know that everybody has more than enough. So I want you to begin to think about abundance over scarcity. Don't say, oh, poverty, oh, I don't have anything. How will this my business grow? No. You need to change your mindset, and it takes time. You need to work on it. That's how you can become productive. That's how you can hack it, is that begin to think in abundance. Even when you don't have a dime, think in abundance. Yes, that this thing is available. What can I do to get it? Who can I serve to get it? And sometimes, like we say, serve with a pure heart and not in turn to get anything. Like I said, today there's not time to share a lot of story with you. I would have shared different stories, because I know if I share story with you, we'll stay here 5 hours, we will not go, and all of that. And so those that with the code. So we want to do a closing reflection, which is what I want you to do, because you're going to do two things for me. I've given you other two assignments. That is personal. If you want to do that, you can do that. But this is what I want you to do. Now, get your book where you are. I want you to reflect on all of this code that we have talked about. So on each of the code, I want you to write one thing that you are doing well for you to do on that code. What is one thing you're going to do between now and when? I know we already, it's a 90-day program. We've started for some time, so we're going to be ending in June, July. So maybe in the next 30 days or 50 days before the program ends, what can you do to get to this? Then I'm going to give you a month in 30 days. For those of you that are on this call, those that are not here, they don't need to do it. You're going to write a one-pager essay to me, and I will grade it. I'll give you comment, but not necessarily maybe count towards the end of what you're doing. But if you really want me to make comment on it for you, please share it of how will you apply this productivity hack to your plan going in the future. So that means you need to let me know what is your vision, what is your goal, what's your purpose, what's your cause, then what are some of the tracking measures. Using the tracking that we've talked about, I'm going to share the slide with Damilola, then it can give to you. And I know this is being recorded, so you can go back and watch it again. So I want you to, so now what you're going to do in class now in 1 minute before we go is this. This is the productivity hack. This is the picture. So I want you to pick each one: enhanced code, objective code, base code, and source code. Those are the different codes under it. Just write. You could write in a paper, what is one thing you are doing under enhanced code that is good? What is one thing you need to do in the next 90 days that will improve this code so that it does not give you error 404 or 504 again? What do you want to do under object code or objective code that will not, so that's object code, not objective. I will edit it up. The object code that you continue to do, what is that you want to do under source code, and what that you want to do under your base code. So take a minute. I'll leave this on the screen. I'm counting it. You have 60, okay, maybe let me give you 2 minutes. You can start writing. So under each of the code, hope the instruction is clear. Hello?
Yes, it's clear, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So under each of the code, just write what are those things you want to do. What are you doing well now? So what do you want to do in the next day before the final day? Then I will repeat the question of the essay that you're supposed to write and send to me in 30 days time. I will give you a date when to submit it. Anybody that submits outside of that day, I will not attend to it. Changes before I send it to them. We have a minute more. Okay. So I think the minute is up. So you can connect with me on Threads at Jason Tomei or on X at Oluzik. That's my private personal email. That's my company email. That's my company website. This is the book I'm talking about. For those that are interested, that would like to get a copy, just let me know. Then I can connect it to the plug of the person that has it in Nigeria. It's not compulsory, but for those that want to learn more about a lot of the content that I talked about in this code, you will not find the code in itself in it, but some of the concepts on it, like the core, the track, and how to other things around leadership, you can find it in it. And so hopefully there's a sequel to this book, which might come out later in the summer. This is when I mean summer, the US summer, like later in August, which is that one is called The Anchor, but this is the Compass. So before the Anchor comes out, it would be great for you to read the Compass. So that's my contact. You can reach me now. Question. So I'll stop sharing so that I can get to see. Stop sharing my page slide.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. Wow, tonight has been wonderful. Tonight has been great. So we have a question. Okay, before I call on Onuche, just keep your hand raised like that. So Esther dropped a question in the chat box here.
Yes, please.
She says that I am currently running 2 part-time jobs.
Okay.
And running my business here in Nigeria.
Yep.
Still, I feel it's all draining me and I am not feeling fulfilled, but I get money from them. What should I do to be productive?
Yep. So the I think everything we've said, I hope maybe when she dropped the question was when we're still starting, but with all we have said, the question is, what is your goal? What is your purpose, right? What is your enough? Now the question is, some people do, and I love when you say you're not even feeling fulfilled, it's draining you. The question will be that you might have to drop some of those jobs. And sometimes when you drop it, the quantity of money you make might drop, but your quality of life will improve because now you know why you are here and you begin to plan better. So with whatever you're making, the income you're making, you begin to redirect your budget. You'll be surprised and you discover. And so practically, because we've done it, this is not, so whatever I'm telling you now, I've done it before. You discover that other areas where expenses was coming for you, nature and God will take care of it. It's blocked. And you now see that whatever money you are making becomes enough for you. So the question is it Joker, right? Or what do you say the name of the person is? What's the name, Dami? I missed the name of the person.
Sir,
the name
Esther.
of the questionnaire.
Esther.
Esther. So for Esther, you might need to sit and redesign your purpose. Take this metric we've given you, analyze it. You're doing all of those things. I love when you give this example. And a lot of people are like that. They're doing plenty jobs, doing everything. Some are even doing just one job, but they're making a lot of money, but they're not feeling satisfied because the real purpose in with their call is not changed. And sometimes it's also your thinking, your ability, the vision you have. Oh, I want to hammer, I want to have this life, I want to get here, I want to get that. You need to re-examine all again. I know the questions I asked you, what's their dream job? So some people say, I want a dream job that will have plenty money. Then after that, what next? And so you must know what is your enough. So Esther, you need to assess what money will you get that you think you'll be satisfied. Then what energy do you think you need to put to get that money? And sometimes do you need to get it in 1 year or can it go over a lifetime for you to get to that point to relax? Because again, is that sometimes you work so hard, you're so draining. And sometimes some people, when they're beginning to supposed to be relaxed in life and begin to enjoy themselves, they fall sick. So all this money they've gathered just goes away. So the question is, you've seen a lot of people in their old age, they're jumping from one hospital to other, different tubes passing through their body, because the time they were supposed to implement the concept of rest, they didn't do it, so they didn't have a balance. So in the book, I also talk about the place of balance and all of that. So please, Esther, my advice to you is that you need to reassess what is your enough, what is your plan. So one of the things you can do, which you know, but I know before you ask that question, you don't even know the answer, is that you might need to drop something, or you might need to monetize, adapt technology to help you to manage your business. But then, you know, again, when you're starting new business, especially back in Nigeria, is that you need to monitor it, because sometimes we don't have a system of people that can help you. So you need to wait. Something needs to go, something needs to stay. But me, Gbenga, cannot tell that this is what needs to go. This one's, you are in it, you are in the game. You know what needs to go. Or you need to know, okay, do you want to keep 2-3 months and then I will stop? But the danger of this, people like that started that, oh, I'll work after 3 years, 5 years, I'll stop doing this multiple job, is that when the money begin to come and you've developed this kind of lifestyle, sometimes you begin to look, oh, my budget will go down. And the fear of that budget going down, they get stuck in the process and they don't think about their body and their health. Remember, I said, do it in fear, but not out of fear. So that's what I would say to Esther.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir, for that amazing answer. Thank you so much, sir. Onuche Daniel, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma. Good evening, everyone. And particularly to my group members, good evening. So my question is, when you were talking on the basic code, you're talking about the ladders. That's
the
basic
track,
code.
how
When
to
you're
track
talking
your,
about the
yes,
ladders,
how to track your journey. Yeah.
yes, on the track, yes, the track. That's about call, connections, commitment, and convictions. So under the commitment, you said something like, you said on your way to measure your growth,
Yep.
you do doing it in fear, not out of fear. So how is it possible for you to do something in fear and not out of fear? Can you just briefly explain?
Yeah, so I said it. So
Thank
for
you.
example, you know you're afraid of this thing, right? That, oh, I want to achieve this big dream. You are doing it with the fear. But you're not doing it because you're saying, oh, if I don't do it, people will laugh at me that I started and I failed. The trouble is that at that point, you're only doing it for the people. But if you're doing it, that's why you are afraid. You know that, but this is my vision. You are pursuing it. No matter what happens, you continue. And that's what I mean, that you do it even with the fear, but not out of fear. You know, some people, sometimes you please. Like, for example, I give example of somebody that becomes a doctor. They're doing it because they're afraid of their parents, not because it's what they like. But there's some people, they really want to become doctor, but the courses and the classes are so difficult, but you don't give up. What do? You keep going to class, you keep showing up. And so that's what I meant by it. And like I said, there are different layers to it, which is what I can't really explain in detail. And so if you have that privilege of reading it in the book, you can read it, or you could check out. I'm trying to remember his work that you can see online, because you know a lot of our young people, they like free stuff. So you can go online, you can see his concept. What's his name? This professor, I will remember his name. I can share with Dami to share with you guys later. You can go and read about that concept of this, but it's not. I don't think that professor have it, but I think it's Gervais that talked a lot about in the gift of fear. But I hope the little thing I said has been able to help you to understand the difference between the two concepts. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you very much, sir, for the answer. So I have a question.
Okay.
Guys,
Yes.
I'm
Once you
still
ask your question,
expecting
then I
you
will
guys
respond so that
to.
I can give the date to submit your assignment. Please go ahead, Dami.
Okay, sir. So this question is for everyone here.
Okay,
Like
please.
I'm asking on behalf of everyone here. So you were talking about when we started, you said that your call is actually different from your career, but most times it can be your career can be in alignment with your call. So
Yep.
for example, you have a career that is totally not in alignment with your call, and you know if you drop that career, let's say it's a job, if you drop that job, or let's say business, there
Yep.
is no means of you achieving your call, your purpose in life. So what can the
No, come again
person
with the question. Towards the ending, I was getting you, but you now this last part you add to it. Can you break it down?
Okay, sir. So I said that if someone has a career that is totally different from their call and they are not getting fulfillment, they are not getting fulfilled in what they do.
Yeah.
And they know that if I drop this thing, there's no way I can get money. And they need funds to chase their call in life. What advice can you give such person, sir?
I mean, the simple truth is that you just have to drop to start. Even though you continue doing that and you remain miserable. Because the question is that people talk about money, because I think we need to clarify that your call will still, every call will provide its own funding to do it. In the beginning, it might not have it. But what I would say, based on what you're saying, is that people need to, maybe in the beginning, tailor a clear plan. The trouble, I started with by saying that the trouble with the 5 years, 10-year plan is that sometimes some people do not know when to stop and go back and pursue the real thing that they know God or nature is calling them into. But if you are disciplined and you're committed, you can say, okay, I'm going to work for 3-4 years. I'm going to do, because for some of you now, you might have a dream like Onuche that wants to be a professor. The truth of the matter is that he might not easily get a lecturing job immediately when he starts. But what he can do with himself is that he can go and work in other company, continue to grow his experience. Let's say, let me give you an example. Let's say, let me find a simple course I will do. Let's say he wants to be a professor of business, right? Of business, and he wants to train the next business. Maybe he gets a job, start working in company like Unilever, different things. What is he doing? Is garnering. That's why I said it's tricky. You need to be very careful, because what we're saying is that it's not that you abandon your 5 to 6 job, because you need to take your core to your 5 to 6 job. So now, because as Onu says, in that 5 to 9 to 5 job, I say 5 to 6, 9 to 5 or 9 to 4, whatever the time their company closes job, he can continue to teach and mentor young people there. You see, already he's doing it. Then he's making money to provide for his basics need to eat. And tomorrow, luckily, one polytechnic hires him. If Onuche goes to class, his student will be the best. You know why? Onuche is bringing experience from the business world to give them. And one of the reasons we have an education system in Africa or in Nigeria, let me use, for example, is that we have a lot of professors that teaches business, but they've not run a business in their life. We have a lot of people that teaches many things they don't have. It's only book knowledge. Some of them are still keeping their note that they designed in 1978. And now it's not working. I did a course then with Harvard with one of my colleagues, and so we wrote a paper on how to address the educational system in Nigeria, because Nigeria has some policy that would have helped our education to work so smooth, like this industrial attachment program. It's supposed to be one of the way that you bring knowledge from the industry to the system. But we were arguing in that paper, and our research for our class was that we need to go outside of that space. We need to get to a point that they bring the industry people to the classroom, like it happens in every other part of the world. Like we have in I can speak more of America that understand the system where I schooled, is that professors bring people from the industry to class to speak to us. But now we're beginning to have what is called even professor of the practice. It means that most schools now, before they hire a professor, you should have worked somewhere else. So with that kind of situation you've asked, Dami, the advice will be that, do you know what God has even called you to do? You understand? What is your call? What is your purpose? And okay, for example, because your call and purpose does not mean you need to go and start an NGO. That's what I want to demystify, because a lot of people, I said before that everybody wants to be CEO and founder. Nobody wants to work for any person. Because what's your call? My passion is to help the poor, to help the this thing. Yes, but that does not mean you have to do it through NGO. It can be that you need to go and work in the UN and make plenty money, or work in the World Bank, or work in the oil sector and make money, and you can take care of the poor. But you must know what we're talking about. The cause that you must know at the back of your mind, what has God called you to? So even when you're a doctor treating people, it's showing, it shows. Even if you're a secretary, how many of you have come across a secretary in a place that you know the secretary, they know that their call here is to make people happy, because they're the first people that they see before they see their boss. The secretary will speak to you so nice. Even when you go to see the boss will get you upset. But when you're coming back again, the secretary will speak to you so nicely and say goodbye to you. You forget every of the bad.
Yes.
You go to some bank, the security at the gate, they do it with joy. Some of you have seen some traffic wardens, they do the job with joy, directing traffic. But you see some of them, they're there, they're asking car to move. If you're not careful, they will take 2 cars to jam themselves and have accident. And so that we're saying that's what we mean. That's the difference. So please, let's not miss it. Your call does not mean you don't do, but we say some people are so gifted in life that immediately they set up to their career dream job. It is what God has called them to do. It aligns with their core purpose in life. But for some of you, it might not sound that that's your core purpose, but that is where God wants you to be, even where you are at that point. But you must bring that your purpose in life. Like, for example, I told you that I know my call is to raise leaders, to make them grow. So no matter which office I work, I know my goal. Even if I don't have a position to become the director or a supervisor, I must ensure that in every meeting, in every junior staff that I join in, I create it at my own. The company is not paying me for that, but I'm doing it because I know that this is what you are meant for. But even when they bypass me and they don't promote me, I don't care, because I know that's what gives me joy. So that's what we're saying. And so, but for some, you've heard people who work, and I love the question Esther raised. Some people have worked so hard until they're in their 50s, their 60s. They will tell that I'm not finding fulfillment in what I'm doing. I need to find what I've been called for. And some of them have made many money. I've worked in the space of philanthropy before. A lot of people that give out big money, all these big donors you're saying, they're not giving you money because some of them, they love you. Some of them, they work so hard and they miss the purpose. They made all of money, but now that death is coming closer, their mind is telling them that you've not really achieved what you're here on earth to do. So some of them are using money to try to buy it. But at that point, it's too late. They cannot meet. Some of them, they will do their best, but some of them, they will not meet it. I know this might sound controversial to people that will listen to us or hear all of these things, but I know for those that have signed up for this Nick Hub productivity thing, you want to do it in the right way. And that's why I asked you the first question was that what would you be remembered for when you're no longer here? What do you want them to know you for? And I'm not saying money is bad, because we all need money. I must also work for money to provide for our family, because the goal is for us all to strive to be wealthy one way or the other, to go and help the next generation. But the goal is that, are you doing it knowing what you've been called? Your true north. That's where you can find fulfillment. Some of you have been called to make business. That's why I talk about the fear that Onuche asked. Some of you, the dream that is coming to you in your mind that you know that God is calling you to do is bigger than you. Even from the family you were born, you don't have the resources, but you must do it in that fear and don't chicken out. But for some people, because they see people celebrity and their friends are posted online, this is the in thing to do. They start. That's why we have a lot of competition. Some people might hear that, oh, because Nick, every year 90 people, 100 people are attending his program. Me too, I want to start a career program for people. They're not doing it because that is what they've been called. They're doing it out of competition. And now you see YouTube. You can see everybody now have YouTube channel, right? Because they hear that, oh, in YouTube you can make money. So people create different unhealthy content. They just produce the content out there now is a lot. But all of them, if you look at them, they are foolish. But they're giving people what people want. People want things that will entertain them. Everybody's now is a skit maker, right? But they're just out there for the money. It's not because they know that that's what they've been called to. They might tell you that they are fine. They're making the money. Some people say, don't listen to what that Gbenga is telling you. Just make your money, drive the big cars. But I'm telling you convincingly from my mind, I know many people like that. Some of them are living on drugs. You don't know what is going on in people's private life, so don't envy them. That's why you see we're having drug issues all around Nigeria, celebrity. You don't know what they're going through. And tomorrow you hear that somebody has died. And you say, oh, what was going in there? And then the signs were always there. And now you can see even we are having a lot of ritual practices back now, home on the continent, young people killing people, all because they've seen on TV. They just want to make that money, quick money. And they're not doing. So, but what we're saying that profession and career sometimes does not align, is that it might not be what if we look at it in the art point, right? It might not be, oh, it's not looking like that, but no. Where you are, why are you a doctor? That's the point we're making. Why are you a doctor? Like for some, they know that they've been raised to teach people. Luckily for them, they get teaching job. What happened? It has aligned. It has matched for them. But what we're saying is that for each job you have been called, know that the purpose is to make life better for others. The money might not be as big as you wanted, but you have that job fulfillment and that satisfaction. I see some people, they love teaching. No matter where you want to take them to, they say, no, I want to be in the classroom, because they know that that's where they've been called. And for some of you, you have been called to be millionaires, to make money, so you can end poverty for other people. So don't be afraid. Go out there and be different. And for those, and you can use it to your house help, people that work with you, even as you're transitioning. Like we say, we have a lot of teachers in Nigeria now. They don't want to teach. It's because there are no jobs out there. You see young people finish NYC and they're teaching. And you can see the trouble we're having in our classroom. They're not bringing that passion and that know-how knowledge to help children to grow. Their own is to teach the curriculum, set the exam, grade it, and go. Either the student have learned or not, they don't care. And that's what we're saying.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. Thank you so much. I want to believe I've helped as many people as possible who have this question in their mind but couldn't ask it. So thank you. God bless you, sir. Okay, nobody is asking a question, nobody is raising their hand, so I think we are
So
good
I want to
to
give
go.
what's the name? So
Yes, sir.
if you want me to grade, the assignment is for we're going to send. I'm going to give Dami the PowerPoint. I'm going to send it to them after. I'll just edit that code, send it. If you want me to grade it, so 30 days from now, it's going to be when? When is the last day for this cohort?
Okay, so this cohort will be ending in July. I can't remember the specific date.
Okay, no, that's
now.
fine. So
Yeah,
July. So, but I'm going to give you
July.
so you don't, so it doesn't get too old in your mind. Maybe let's give it 3 weeks. So today is 3rd. So if you want me to have comment on, so by May 24, if you can send me your 1-page essay and write up on the model, is that where do you see yourself until by the end of this program, let's say between now and December, what are the ways you want to apply this productivity hack? And what are some of the questions you have? What are some of the recommendations you want from me to give you in terms of, so write like a 1-page essay. This is your understanding. This is where I am on each of the code. This is what I'm doing. This is what I plan to do. Then you can ask questions. So what I will do is once you send it in, I will read it. When I say grade it, I don't put mark. Don't worry, when I was in the classroom, I'm a good professor. I ensure that my student learn and we grow together. So one of the things we will do is I'll just put on chest laugh at me. No, I'm nice. My student anywhere in the world, if you meet them, they will tell you. Sometimes I go back to read my class grading note. I'm so happy I'm able to help or impact people's lives. So, but don't worry, I'm singing my own praises. So by 24, if you send it in, I can grade it, make recommendation, talk about books that I come across. I'll try my best to also ensure that I make recommendation of free resources that you can see online, so that you don't cry of money and you can still do what you want to do. And I'll be proud that in the next 5, 7, 3 years from now, when you look back to that thing, because sometimes when you write these things down, they're helpful. The days you are tired, when you go back to see it, you say, wait, I wrote these things down for my life, and you can pick it up by yourself and begin to rejoice, and it will guide you. You become great. So I know that the few of us on this call tonight, the 30 of us, minus myself, that's 29 of you, your life will not remain the same if you apply what we've learned today, and you'll be happy. And the goal is that please don't keep it to yourself. Go back and also apply it. I look forward to this fashion for Ms. Dokon. I'm looking forward to your fashion company. Going around the world, I can watch in my screen, watching you maybe in Riyadh or anywhere, Abu Dhabi, doing your fashion show. I say, wait, this girl was in my class. And I'll be so proud of it. And I can help one professor called Onuche, maybe in Abuja or one university, and say, I know this guy. He's a very great professor, or whoever, maybe Sani, Pauline, or Juliet, or Israel. All of you, is it Wumia, Bala, and everybody, and there's an AI tech, Ibrahim, Chiwendu, and Taiwo, Precious, Esther, everybody, and then you go and do great things. So thank you for having me in your space. So let's joy when I talk about growth and development. I also learn a lot, because the more I keep talking about it, the more I keep also I get convinced that yes, that is the right path. So thank you for bringing me, and I wish you all the best. I look forward to your notes. I can read and I can grade. So back to you, Dami.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for coming here tonight. So good to have you back again, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. Okay, guys. If I were you, I'm going to dive right into the assignment. This is a mentorship program. Mentorship, emphasis on the mentorship. So if he says he wants to grade your assignments, you should be eager to submit, right? So grab this opportunity and do your assignments. You know that I'm going to be on your neck, right? So have a wonderful night rest. Thank you once again for joining and for staying till this time. Good night, guys. Good night, sir.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone. Take care, people. Bye.
Good night, sir.
Mhm.
Good night.
Mm-hmm.